This is video 6 of 7 videos in this series. Please be sure to watch the others. This is the last of my repairs. This is a leak from a chimney crown that was cracked. So water was running down through the crack, down through the flue, from the top floor down to the main floor, and then it ran across the firebox in the chimney upstairs, and the water came out here. And this is a seam between two pieces of drywall, and what I'm hoping is that I do not have to replace any of the drywall. I have drywall to replace it if I need to, but what I'm hoping is that I can cut this out, put some new seam tape on it, and use some joint compound and be done with it. The only thing, it is dry. It's been dry for a while. The leak was repaired upstairs, so it's not leaking anymore down here. It's been a month and a half, and it's pretty solid. I don't know what's on the other side of the drywall in the ceiling. Not sure if I should make a hole to see, but this wasn't like a long time leak. It happened after a very serious rainfall, and then it didn't rain after that, so it didn't continue. It is kind of concerning that as far as it spread, but it did spread only along that seam and didn't seem to spread out to the left and right of it. So like I said, hopefully I can just cut this out, put some joint compound, put the drywall tape in there, and then level it off with some additional joint compound, paint it, and be done with it. Having done some ceiling repairs and wall repairs in the past, my only concern with not taking out the drywall and replacing it, one, it's on a seam. Two is because of the stain. One of the things that I've experienced in the past is that when you put joint compound or spackle on a repair that has water damage, even if it's completely dry, sometimes the stain will seep through to the new spackle or joint compound. And I'm hoping that that's not what happens in this case. So far what I've done is remove the stained paint and some of the joint compound. Now I'm gonna cut the seam tape over here with the joint between the roof and the ceiling. Cut it down there, and then I'll also cut it up here. I was able to scrape this off pretty easily. I think it was pretty much separated anyways because of the water penetration. And so now I'm just gonna remove this seam, the old seam tape, and then put some new seam tape in. You can see everything that I've scraped off. And even though I put a plastic drop cloth, I managed to get more off the plastic drop cloth than on it. I've now got the old seam tape out, and then I used a flat blade and went along all the edges just to make sure there was no loose paint or joint compound. I have the joint tape in there. There's some joint compound under the tape, joint compound over the tape. I just put somewhat of a light coat on it, and then once it dries, I'll go back over it and then sand it down, make it flat. This is now day 2. I finished up yesterday with putting some joint compound up on the ceiling, and then this morning I went over it with a blade just to knock off any clumps or ridges, and then noticed that I had missed a line along here on the right side, and so went back over that and sanded the edges some, and then put another coat on this afternoon because it was kind of curved inward towards where the center was. So I filled that and thought it would be dry by now, but it's not. I'm just gonna let it dry overnight again and then come back tomorrow, give it a good sanding, and then paint it. It's now day 3 of fixing the ceiling, but after sanding it last time, the joint compound dust was just getting everywhere. So I thought I'd make it a little bit easier, and I hope it does. I got this Husky dust-free drywall hand sander, and I got my shop vac. It comes with this attachment and then this hose that goes onto the hand sander, and then you get one 120 grit drywall sanding screen. Try this out. I hope it works. Got all my sanding done. Now I just need to tape the wall right there with some masking tape. And I bought this flat ceiling paint. It's a stain blocking ceiling paint with a primer in it. And I bought the paint with primer mainly because I know for a fact that the joint compound is going to really absorb the paint. So yeah, I'm going to put that on. I also worked on a couple other spots that need to be touched up, but at some point the entire ceiling needs to be done.